So the Mueller report has been released. It's been, of course, heavily redacted, but nonetheless, it's out, and already we know that the investigation had found 10 possible different examples of corruption, obstruction of justice. Now, in a press conference Thursday morning, Barr argued that the president had not obstructed justice, in his view, because he was, quote, justifiably frustrated and angered by a sincere belief that the investigation was undermining his presidency, propelled by political opponents, and fueled by illegal leaks. So, basically, his defense is, the president was having a tantrum. I mean, is he really guilty of obstructing when he was mad? That's a really bad defense. Now, we also find out in the report itself that Trump, when he was angry, had certainly tried, but in many cases had failed to do obstruction because his orders were either ignored or he had bungled in those efforts. Of course, we have bungler in chief. Now, according to the report, the president's efforts to influence the investigation were mostly unsuccessful, save for those 10, right? But that is largely because the persons who surrounded the president declined to carry out his orders or accede to his requests. Really? The example of demands by Trump were telling former FBI Director James Comey to let it go in the Michael Flynn investigation. Former White House counsel Don McGahn was told to tell the acting attorney general that Mueller must be removed, but was instead prepared to resign over the president's order. That's again another example of somebody like, no, I'm just not going to do that. That's clearly illegal. Corey Lewandowski and Rick Dearborn did not deliver the president's message to Sessions that he should confine the Russian investigation to future election meddling only. So, again, you have people saying, yeah, you know what? That's nice and all, but we're just not going to do it. And McGahn also refused to recede from his recollections about events surrounding the president's direction to have special counsel removed. Despite the president's multiple demands that he do so, consistent with that pattern, the evidence we obtained would not support potential obstruction charges against president's aides and associates beyond those already filed. So now, basically, yeah, he was definitely trying to do obstruction, but he sucked at it, and the people around him also were like, no, we're not going to do that. And that's aside from the 10 counts that they found were definitely, at least in the report, considered possible obstruction attempts. So, okay. So now, we could have had far more. Isn't that amazing? That's crazy. Now, it's just like, it brings me back to some of the stories when Trump was running his businesses, and he would tell people to do illegal things, like, for example, not putting Braille in his buildings, right? Now, so the story was that he walked up, and he was like, what are those bumps? That's Braille. What's it for? It's so that blind people can read. No blind person's going to be in Trump Tower. I'm not going to let them hear. You know, that's against the law. I don't care. Get rid of it. Illegal things. Again, the president's a criminal. So, of course, he's going to try to do criminal things. And try to order people to do criminal things. He's not, look, McGahn and the rest, they're not the only ones that have recollection of doing so, of being told to do illegal things. You also had former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who was like, yeah, the president would tell me to do illegal things, and I would say, I can't do that. And then he would get mad at me, and he would yell at me. But then he would forget about it later. Child. And so, yeah, that's the other thing. So they tell him to do something illegal. He doesn't do it. And then he either gets distracted or he just forgets about it and is already on to the next thing. Again, child. He has no, he's that dumb. This man-child certainly tried to obstruct justice. And if it weren't for his staff, the special counsel would have found so many more examples of it and possibly would have made obstruction of justice charges stick. And yet, The special counsel left it up to the attorney general and left it up to Congress to do something about it. And Barr, of course, Barr being a lackey, says, we're not going to do anything. I mean, it's not obstruction of justice because his feelings were hurt. And you do the same thing if your feelings were hurt. You try to obstruct justice too. Really. Oh, and then get this. He also said in the report that Trump had no corrupt intent in wanting to break the law. What a standard. I mean, I had no bad intentions to obstruct justice. I was just really, really mad because the TV guys said mean things about me. So it's not illegal, right? Is anybody ever going to be held to the same standard as Donald Trump? Or is Donald Trump ever going to be held to the same standard as everyone else? Probably not, because the man gets away with everything. Everything. Again, they impeached Bill Clinton, the Republicans did, over a blowjob. These two sides are not even. And guess what? Steny Hoyer, number 2 Democrat in the House, says, impeachment, not worthwhile. And here we go. The Democrats bungle it again. I mean, they give up the fight before the fight even starts. They've already given up. Yeah, we're not going to go after these obstruction of justice charges. Okay. Well, that's how the establishment wants to play it. They might as well be controlled opposition at this point. But I want to show you one more quote here. And this is when the special counsel was announced, right? This is after Jeff Sessions recused himself. And it led to Rod Rosenstein appointing Robert Mueller as the special counsel to this investigation. And his remarks were, quote, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm effed." Right, because people who don't do anything think, oh my God, there's an investigation to me. I'm screwed. Oh, I'm totally screwed. The end of my presidency. No, that's not what happens. But unfortunately for the rest of us, the matter of obstruction is basically over. Democrats ain't going to take it up. Bill Barr has already done his job, fulfilled his purpose, and defended President Trump. So I guess that's that. Move on. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.